very unimpressed. Anyways, let's zoom in on Oddball Audio. I'll give a quick rundown for those in the chat who might be unfamiliar with Real Talk. I know Dagum was here. I saw you in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you. Dagum is an avid speedrunner of Celeste and not really in-game audio at all, so thanks for being here, man. We've got these criteria here. We run this this show called Real Talk every week, Matt Martins and myself. And basically, we were looking to fill a void of feedback. In that when you submit your reel or your resume or your application, whatever it might look like, to an outsourcing house like ours, like Power Up or Hexany or Wabi Sabi Sound or whatever, or AAA studio like Bethesda or Blizzard, or even just indie developers or singular developers, they might not get back to you. They probably won't get back to you with negative feedback because it just invites conflict and it's a bad choice on their part. It's a waste of time, right? So, I mean, we had Isaac Chan on here, a good friend of mine from Riot, who works in recruitment in the audio department there. And he was saying that for like a junior sound design position at Riot, they might get 800 resumes. 800. 800 applications. How crazy is that? So, I know it might seem a bit crass to not give feedback or to not even respond in some cases, but it's like 800 applications, you know? It's a crazy use of time. And I mean, the interview process at all is challenging. I mean, Matt just went through that at Clay, right? So he can speak very directly from experience. It's a lot of work to go through applications and to bring people in and give feedback and such, right? So it's very easy to skip the feedback part. So hence why we got in. So Matt didn't get 800, but did lose track. So it's a bunch. So, oh, is it done? No. Oh, this album's so good. I'm gonna link this in the chat too, by the way. New album from Kubi. I don't know. They're from Norway. Whatever. Right. So our whole goal with Real Talk is to give that feedback and to say this is why you might not have gotten the call back. This might be why you didn't get hired. You know, just various things that you might be able to improve upon. And the thing is, we've reviewed like 140 of these reels or something like this by this point, and it's like the most common problem is not that people suck, it's that they suck at conveying how good they are. Like that's the big problem. It's a communication breakdown. It's not a skill sets breakdown. It is, of course, skill sometimes or in various capacities, but most typically, it's just how you present yourself. So we're looking to give some feedback in this respect to well, I mean, there's no, of course, silver, like there's no what's the word here, like magic bullet as far as how to get hired, obviously, but there's certainly some best practices, and there's just things that work really well and things that don't. So, or things that are just riskier, and they might work in certain specific cases, but it depends what you're going to be applying for, right? So, really quick, just down the list here, Matt and I land on these criteria as far as a way to kind of focus our attention and our feedback. The first being presentation. We're looking at both the site and the demo reel content itself. So for the site, things like just general navigation and taste, and if the most important thing is being shoved in our face right away. Because again, 800 resumes, right? 800 applications, 800 websites. You have finite time to grab someone's attention. It's just the fact. You know, it's unfortunate, but it's just the case. So if you have like a big picture of your face, the first thing they see, it's like, sure, but where's your work? They don't care who you are until they have a reason to. It's true. So in this case, this is good. We have like some stuff right up front. It's awesome. So, and excuse the cough, by the way, I'm still kind of getting over this thing I've been battling for the past couple of weeks. So presentation on the site, all the info is there that needs to be there, and I can find my way around very easily. I know where I'm going, and the things I want to find are easy to find. So for the reel itself, things like the titling looks pretty good so far. Things like the intro splash, A, it exists, and B, it looks good and has the right info. Things like flow and like transitions and like all these things just help it just flow together and be like a finished piece that is effectively a trailer for you, right? The next thing down there, material selection, is talking about the content in your portfolio and in your reel, and what that says about your past work history and your your skill sets, your passions, and I guess maybe most importantly, your aspirations. The content quality is regarding just the stuff in your reel and whether it's good, or whether it's at the industry standard of awesome, as we say. And that comes down to a lot of stuff, a lot of things that are very hard to just glaze over, because it's like I could teach a course on just that alone, right? It's like primarily it's these 6 categories: balance, panorama, frequency range, dimension, dynamics, and interest. Those 6 things, we'll try and call upon them for your reel as a whole and for your various, specific parts of the reel as well. And distinction. That's simply whether or not you're standing out. And again, 800 applications, right? So if you're not standing out, you're kind of already doing yourself a massive disservice. What's up, Mega Mag, RC? And Necobus and Swigglicious. Good to see y'all. We are just about to hop into this first reel, so let's do it, yeah? We have Jeshua Whitaker. Whitaker? It's kind of an automatic last name. I'm not sure that's correct. Is it? Is it on here? Yo, Whitaker, what's up? Oh, and one important thing, too, I failed to mention, is that we go into these sites blind. So I've never seen this site before. I've seen it insofar that I saw the front page when I was preparing for the... I was preparing for the stream, and I saved the link, like, a week ago, or whatever it is, right? So, otherwise, I haven't looked at anything. So everything's very first impression. Anyways, sorry, Cubby. Cold Snap this is so good, right? Are you hearing this right now? I'm gonna crank it. Man, so good. Holy. All right. Dan says he already looks like a good sound designer. You saying I do? Or Jeshua? Probably Jeshua. Okay, let's go about first. So we have about. Oddball Audio was founded by Jeshua. It is Jeshua, right? Am I saying that right? Like Joshua? Jeshua Whitaker. To share his state-of-the-art sound libraries and professional work to the greater audio community. Jeshua has been actively working in sound design for games, robotics, film, and advertisement now for over 5 years. Most recently, he directed the audio strategy for the robot Jibo, I don't know it, and contracts as a sound designer for Overcoast Music to create compelling advertisement segments. He currently resides in New Orleans. Cool. Look at this guy. Thanks, pal. So we got Oddball Audio up top. Goes home. Libraries. My work, which is the same as this link, I guess. About and contact. Cool. Good stuff. And then into, I guess, libraries. So vinyl record noise. Oh, is this the one? Sound library. 11 wave files. It's the first one. Library features 11 10-inch blank records recorded from start to finish at 45 RPM. Records were cut and pressed using a myriad of techniques to get the most surface noise, pops, crackles, and hiss for your sound design pleasure. Really? In the cutting process, they used 4 different lathes with varying noise floors and records made from many types of materials. The library is perfect for use in any project that may need vinyl records to give it that vintage feel. Cool. Let's hear this. That's nice. Josh is freaking out. What the hell? That's unique and awesome. This looks great too. This is super good. Your page is definitely attractive so far. It's simple and like this content's nice. The branding, it's cool. It's cool. 55 minutes of content. Buy now. $12. It's a steal. Jeez. Jeez, Jeshua. Come on, man. You're trying to make a living here. Everyone go buy this right now. Come on. Come on. All right, well, I'll buy this later, I guess. All right, so back over to the work. Let's do it. My work. We've got a few things here, which I don't love. It's kind of like these few videos just offered without, should be eliminated and not bought, says Brett. Cute. There's these 3 videos, and I mean, the thing about having multiple videos is that you instantly don't have control over what the person's going to do on your site. And it's like, this isn't too egregious. It's fine, probably. Excuse me. It's fine, probably. But like, in more extreme examples, there would be like, you know, 10 videos down the left with a bunch of text. And it's just not a good use of real estate or people's time, right? Because again, back to the multitudinous resumes that people receive, it's kind of a courtesy to them to be like, okay, it's very clear what to look at. And seeing as I have Josh in the chat going, what the hell? Here's Josh's site, and it's sick. Look at this. What do you think we should click on? You know, it's very clear. It's like, I'm not going to go to the bottom and click this thing first, like this thing. No, of course not. I'll just do this. It's like, this is Josh saying, hey, welcome, do this. You know? Like, this is just so clear. Let's watch this thing. And in 5 seconds, I'm all in. You know? That intro and this opening and this looks tight and clean. It's like, it's a great reel. So this is a very good example of like controlling the narrative of someone visiting your site, because they're going to roll in. You have a very good idea what they're going to do first because you've made it very clear what they should do first, right? And then, so you're kind of guaranteeing that they're seeing the things that you think they need to see. Whereas if you have this and this, like Matt's saying, it splits attention a bit. And, oh yeah, good call. So it's, if I'm not looking for robot sounds, Jibo Emotive Robot SFX could not draw me in a way. Yeah, fair enough. Both top videos also read SFX reels, so we didn't hear them yet, so couldn't they be in one video? It's a fair assessment, yeah. I mean, the fact is, we haven't seen them yet, right? So right now, myself and everyone in the chat, Jeshua, we're all making assumptions, and it's not like the worst. It's not the worst kind of assumption to be making, but again, you're just losing control, right? So when you're applying for a gig, or if you're trying to impress a prospective client or whatever, of course, it's best if you have a good idea of what their impression is going to be leaving your site. Like once they've seen all they need to see, you should be pretty clear on like that they've gotten the gist, right? Like for ours, for example, I'll go to Power Up site. I'll bring this up a lot. Like we don't have a reel. We don't really need one because we've been around long enough, but we might do one eventually. But like this is the gist is that you land here and it's like projects, cool, and you just scroll and it's like cool, a bunch of stuff, and I might know some of them. And if that's all you see, I'm happy with that. You know, like that's how our site's designed. That this is our goal, and we've achieved that goal probably in most cases. And if they want to check out the team or check out services or whatever, They go to the team, see that we're collaborative and together, and it's like, oh, cool. And they can click and be like, oh, here's like Kevin without a beard, right? So they can do that, but it's like allowing for it. So there's kind of these two categories. It's like what you need them to see and make that very clear. It's like Josh's site is, here's the reel. If you have time for one thing, do this. And then if you want to see more things, well, again, Josh has like the ton of stuff down below that is elaboration on things in the reel, or just other things entirely, or like his, don't you have like your games you like? Yeah, like your games you're looking forward to and stuff. It's it's like, what the dude, Celeste, you have Into the Breach, Celeste, Invisible Ink, that's Matt, Tunic, and Darkest Dungeon here. These are 4 of our games, man. Come on. It's not why I came here. It's not why I came to the site. But thanks, dude. All right, so anyway, back to your site, Jeshua. You've got these 2 things. So right now, you kind of don't have the one category of like, if you have time for one thing, do this. Like, I don't know what that thing is. I can guess, and it's probably one of these, but it might be both, and that's not a good thing. It should be one, you know? And then apart from that, like if you have time for it, it's kind of like your library stuff, it's your about page, it's anything else. But the one thing that I see is glaringly missing, which is what Matt already kind of brought up a little bit, is that I don't have any info about the work you did. I have info about you and about your sound library stuff, which is pretty cool. Although this is like, you only have the one right now. It makes sense if you have more than one here, but it's the one. Like you could just go here for the time being. Like this link could just go to this page, you know? I'm just clicking extra for no good reason. So I'd like to know more about like what these things are or whatever. I mean, we'll see the reel and see what that might look like if you were to do that. But in general, I'd like to have like your main thing, and then like a split, maybe a separate page, or like this could be like your home page is the one thing, and then under my work would be a separate page that has the various things in your reel kind of split up, and with a bit of a breakdown on each one. Just like a few sentences, like nothing too crazy, right? Because you don't want to overload text. Just like, here's the thing I did, here's what I did, here's why you should care. That's just the gist. So, anyways, Josh, someone's doing some sucking up. Yeah, it's me. I'm sucking up to Josh, going to his page all the time. I just want Josh to be my friend. Okay, that's all I want. I just want one thing in the world. It's Josh's friendship. So let's watch this one first, I guess. Top left. I mean, that's gonna be the most common thing. Top left, probably, right? So we'll see what we get. 158. All right. We'll see how it goes.
Six games, one book.
Okay. Oh, sorry, one of these. Thanks, pal. Before we even get into it more, let's see this one too. I'm curious. Also, hey, Kate, what's up?
Hey, Jibo.
Yeah? How are you?
Hey Jibo, what can you do?
A photo. Let's do it. Can you wave and make some noise so I can find you?
Cool. Yeah, I got a buddy, Ben Gabaldon, who works at Anki, and Anki made this thing called it's totally slipping my mind right now. What the hell's this thing called? It's like a little Cosmo. Yeah, thank you. It's this here. Actually, it's funny because for Christmas, my niece, I was at my sister's place for Christmas, and my niece got one of these.
Around them, a character opens his eyes and wakes up in the
One of these guys.
first time, and he's like,
And
who has to
and you can like do all kinds of stuff with it, like program it and play games and things like that. And it's got like voice recognition. It can recognize faces, and it can be like, so you can be like, who am I? And it's like, Mom. It's really cute. But anyways, I was hearing some of the sounds and hearing the voice come out of the thing, and I was like, I feel like I know that. Like it just seemed familiar, like vaguely familiar. It was freaking Ben's voice, man. This is Ben's voice coming out of this machine, and it did really well. It shipped a bunch of those things. But anyways, Jibo, it's pretty cool. It's a kind of an unusual thing to have worked on. That's pretty cool, actually, to have that in there. See, this is a great example of something I'd love to see more information on. And Josh, despite this, I did understand that you did the content for it, like the audio content on the device. I got that, and I don't know if I got that from like, you know, my experience with like Ben Gabaldon working on that other thing that's similar to this, or myself working on, you know, text-to-speech things or whatever, right? But I guess there is room for misunderstanding here. So this would be a great thing to have, like this video exactly on a portfolio page or on a work page with a bit of text, like this video right here, and some text on the left-hand side, like a bunch of vids down the left, and some text just saying like, this is the thing I did. Here is why it's cool, you know? Again, it's like, here's why you should care, basically. So, and this is like totally separate. So here's the thing with this stuff too, is like, this is good to have. I assume you're gonna be talking about your footstep system, right? So this is good to have, but it's kind of like completely separate and apart from this. So I'm going to this blind, which is not great. And again, I'll bring up Josh's site, and he did a great job. Cosmo, get out of here. He did a great job of like just this right here, the thumbnail being very clear, like, hey, do you want to learn about this adaptive Foley system? Because I can tell you. And it has that gist, right? And same thing with these, like dynamic wind, and like extended gameplay footage. Like I know what I'm getting into, right? Like I know what I'm signing up for if I click this. And if I'm not sure, I can then read this more and be like, what are you talking about, Josh? You know? So whereas like this, just compare Jeshua. I was going to do Jesh and Josh. Jeshua, just compare like this section right here, which is basically serving the same purpose as yours, but yours is just like this box, right? So you can see why it's not quite as effective. It's like it's fully okay to have this box like this, but you just have some indication of what it is, right? You know, like this title's okay; it's a good step, but it's you could do better. It's 5 minutes long. We won't watch the whole thing, but I'll just get started here. We'll see what happens.
Step material management system using Wise and Unity 3D. Hi everyone. In this video I'll be showing you how I set up a footstep material management system using Wise and Unity 3D. The system was originally created by Sebastian Gayar on the Audiokinetic blog, and I wanted to implement his code to test it out for myself. The system employs raycasts that fire down from the player model. Once the raycast hits a collider tagged with one of our materials, our script will communicate to switch sounds in Wise. The scene that we're looking at today just uses standard
Was that me or you?
files from Unity. Our script will communicate to switch sounds in Wise. The scene that we're looking at today just Wise. The scene that we're looking
I think it was me.
just uses standard asset prefabs from Unity.
Is it me? What the heck's going on?
The scene that we're looking at today just uses standard asset prefabs from Unity.
I think it's just like buffering or something. Yeah.
So let's hop right into the scene to hear how it works. As you heard, the footsteps smoothly
Yeah, okay, great. So it moves pretty slow, you know, which is whatever. It's like it's an implementation walkthrough, right? So it's not a big deal. But Matt, I'm gonna read this again for everyone's sake. It's a very, very good point. Matt says, going in blind, I'm not likely to watch an almost 5-minute video on implementation. True. If the short reel has hooked me in, or some text has piqued my interest, or there's a bit of that in the short reel, I'd be way more likely to watch that. Yeah. So if there's like something like this at the end of your reel, and it was interesting, like Josh has like this cool occlusion thing. I seem to recall. I don't know where it is in this video, but or in this site. Custom occlusion experiment. Seems cool. We watched this. It was awesome. It's just interesting. You know, it's something we don't see very often. I don't recall seeing an occlusion experiment on any other site. You know, it's pretty unusual. Whereas footsteps are kind of like the minimum. Again, great to have because you're further separating yourself from people who have no implementation at all on their site, right? So it's a good thing to have, but it's kind of like the bare minimum right now. But anyways, let's go to the main reel again here. Let's talk about this. So we got this cinematic SFX reel. This is kind of weird. Like, I mean, we were talking about whether you should have like one reel or these multiple videos or whatever. I don't know who this reel is aimed at, I guess is the main concern, because cinematic means a few things, right? It means linear timeline, typically. I mean, in our for our purposes at least, it means linear timeline, right? So that's what this is, I guess. But the thing is, I don't know who it's aimed at because there's like this opening thing, Virginia Lottery advertisement, which is cool, by the way, and then this like kind of abstract, surrealist, lucid short film piece, and then so I've been loading. YouTube's being kind of slow for us here, right? It's kind of frustrating. And then like this Transformers thing, and then I don't recall what this was, Wasteland 3, and then Last of Us. These are like vastly different things. So it's, oh man, this is like brutal. Please site. I'm gonna reload this entirely. There we go. Josh brings up a great point. You have a great logo here. Dude, use it. This is awesome. It looks super good. Like Oddball with the wave on it. It's sweet. Oh, ball, shape, audio. It's like a wave, like tape, I guess, also is the idea. Super cool. Do it. Noise Jockey says, brand everything. Same language. Agreed. Do it. Do it. You're looking to stand out, right? It's like this is your own brand right now. So you treat yourself as a business. Market yourself. It's important. All right. So this is unfortunate in that this opening is like extremely, extremely generic. It's just text, white text, black background fading in. You could fade this in. It would be better, you know? It wouldn't be special. You could go crazy and like have someone do a custom animation, then like design it, have like some tape like fly in, like whoosh, like whirl into a ball shape and like bloop, ball audio. You could do that, and it's awesome, but it's more work obviously, and probably some money as well to pay someone to do that for you. But this is just like not good. This is almost like losing points for you. You know, it's not just not helping you; it's like almost hurting you at this point. Also, no contact info here, which is unfortunate. It's at the end, but not the beginning. You might as well put it at the beginning too. Nothing to hurt. 2.5 seconds of silence off the top is not great too. Agreed. Let's go full screen. Like this is an SFX reel, right? So this is a great chance to have some sound. Again, need I remind you of Josh Adam Bell's site. Every video is like, let's do this.
Hi.
It just proves he's serious. That's all it comes down to. He's like, I put work into this because I'm serious about this job and I want this job, you know? And this is clear effort and clear passion. This is like minimal effort, you know? And no sound on the front too. Josh also says that you can have your titles complementing with the visual style with the logo. Yeah, like have titles same font or something. Have it look good. Similar colors. Be great. This positioning is also a problem, as you can see. When I pause the video, it like the progress bar covers things up. There's something called what's it called? I don't even know what it's called now. There's like safe limits or something like that. Film. What's it called? I don't recall anymore. The safe area, yeah, broadcast safe. It's kind of an older term. It's like a TV term, but it's kind of still relevant these days because you've got like this area in the middle is guaranteed to be open and not covered by things like this. And this is kind of gross, right? Full screen's a bit better because it moves away, but just be aware that this is a problem, you know? So it's called a lower third for a reason. Put it like right here. It's great. No one will care if they can't see exactly what's behind this thing on this third of the screen. It's totally fine. And as far as what text says, great. Yeah, it's pretty clear. I mean, although this by sound design by, like we know it's your site. You know, we don't need to be reminded who we're looking at. It's right here. Your name is here. And if this is in your reel, I assume you did it. If it's not, it shouldn't be here. You know.
Six games, one book.
All right, so next thing. Again, sound design by Jeshua Whitaker. The one and only. Yeah, this is, again, just get rid of it. Lucid, short movie, SFX stem only. Yeah, this whole line is like kind of weird. I mean, ideally, you might put like a hyphen somewhere, and then like in parentheses, SFX stem only, because previously, this is like this line is dedicated to what the thing is, right? Like this is a Virginia lottery advertisement, and then next one you've got Lucid short movie, SFX stem only. It's just not really consistent, you know? And then the next thing... yeah, okay, sure. I was going to bring the music thing up. I thought that might be the case, actually. But anyway. And now a Transformers thing. So we have Oh, it's still this title though. That's not correct. So your titling kind of spilled over. This should change way earlier. There you go. It should change like seconds ago, right? I hadn't realized that before. So this title was like way late. Just be aware of that. Transformer animation recut. Recut's a weird term to use, I assume. I think I saw you say in the chat, actually, it's like a re-sound design. Like you didn't do this. And to that end, I would just put like, I don't know what this is, like transform animation. Like what was this for? Like an ad or a trailer or I don't know, something like that. Just say more specifically like what this thing is, and then just put sound redesign beneath it. Like that's a very good choice, and it's very clear that you didn't do it. Because a recut could be anything. Like the recut is more a term that describes the content. Like this is a recut of the animation, and then you did sound design for it, you know? You found it online, wanted to redesign it. Yeah, sure. So just make sure that's clear. And I would credit where it came from, too, because it's just courtesy. And, like, for legal reasons, you might just want to cover yourself, too. So, all right. So into the next thing, we've got Wasteland 3. How's this? Hey, perfect. That was timed correctly. Wasteland 3 trailer recut. Again, same thing. Just Wasteland 3 trailer, period. Down here, sound redesign, okay? Sound redesign. And you might want to put like who the developer is too. And Matt says, I don't know that regarding the thing you found online. I'm going to redesign it. And when I'm watching a reel, I don't really care. I just want to hear the sound effects. Oh, you're talking about music then. So, wait. Talking about this? You're talking about the ad agency didn't want to deliver the final mix to me? Carry on. I just want to hear the music. Anytime, or SFX rather, anytime there's music in SFX reel, I unfortunately assume something is being hidden. So I know that's what I would do when I put a real trailer out, hide behind the music when I can. Yeah, true. Like the lottery thing is cool because it's something you were paid for, and I respect that, but it's not really relevant to your game stuff. So we'll get back to this in the material selection side of things, but carrying on with the Wasteland thing, excuse me, this is a good little piece. It's yeah, it's fine. Like it's a redesign though. To make sure you say so. And then, oh, you know what? I think perhaps you were thinking that saying this is by Jeshua, and these ones you didn't say by Jeshua implies that's redesign, but that's not enough, unfortunately. If that's what you were thinking, it's just not clear enough. And the very last thing, Last of Us gameplay. Just say again, developer. Don't say recut. Just say Last of Us. And then say like gameplay redesign. You can do that too. Just this is kind of useless information. Recut. So, fair enough. And then of course the ending. This is really terrible, and this is the same. It's terrible for the same reasons that the opening is terrible, right? It's just bare minimum work, which is weird because it's kind of at odds. It's at odds with your main site, which looks very attractive, like nice font. Like the little rounded font to go with like the ball kind of like sphere aspect of your branding. It's cool. It works really well together. So I was kind of surprised and I was disappointed to see that your reels didn't reflect that same branding, you know? And it just it just makes me ask why. So, and last thing, presentation. This is too long. 2 minutes? You didn't need 2 minutes to show this. You could have easily shown less of the ad, less of the lucid film, way less lucid film, like half easily, and then, or if not, like a quarter is a long clip. Is way long you need for a reel. Transformer was fine for length. Wasteland's fine, and well, you can really shorten that one too. Last of Us gameplay recut. I mean, this didn't really have much in it, you know. Like that as a redesign is kind of weird, because although it is nice to have subtle moments to show your appreciation for nuance and detail in quiet moments in game. It's nice to have that, but as your only AAA redesign, just showing like a mantle and some footsteps is kind of weird. It's a little strange, and I'm not sure why, or what drew you to that in particular, you know? But anyways, so Matt is saying that run out of budget on graphic design, expensive, etc. Yeah, well, again, unfortunate, but. And Matt says too much ambience. You know why you say that? Because that's all there is. If this was like a battle scene with that ambience, you'd be fine with that. Well, I don't know that. I still think it's too much. But anyways. And this is cool. Like having this. So here's the thing, Jeshua. So your reel should act as a teaser trailer for you that makes people want to see more. That's the reason for it to be. And that's it. It should not be the thing that people hire you for. It should just be there to get your hooks in and keep people listening, you know? So the thing about this, it's longer than it needs to be. I was borderline going to skip ahead during the Lucid clip, just so you know, rather than just like watching through. And I was like, it's only 2 minutes. I can survive this. But it was definitely on the edge of skipping ahead the entire time. So onto the material selection part of the criteria here, down there. We've got a few things here. We've got this implementation thing. We've got the Jibo in-device sound is pretty cool. And we've got a grab bag of things in this SFX reel. I kind of want you to have just a one video reel, man, because this content isn't bad, you know? It's not amazing, but it's not bad. And the main thing is that I think that you'd have a really strong singular reel here with the stuff you've got if you just showed less of those things and put them all in one video. It's like, here, this is all you need to know. And if you want to know more, like, go to my portfolio page and see that work there with the additional information and stuff like we were talking about, right? Yeah, so this, I'll get back to this now. So this reel, I don't know what you're saying with this reel in terms of what you want to do. Because we've got like this lottery ad. We've got a short film that seems pretty artsy. We've got this Transformers recut that we have no idea where it's from. As you said, you just found it online, right? And then we've got this Wasteland trailer. And then Last of Us gameplay. Like, this is a full spectrum of random stuff. So that's okay, you know? Like, it's all right to have worked on a bunch of stuff. Like, I have too. But in terms of a reel, and if you're, like, applying for a job, well, I can ask you right now, like, what kind of work you're looking for? Are you looking to do, like, more ads, more games, more, like, AAA work, or, like, what? Because this Last of Us clip, you typically want to have AAA. God bless YouTube. It's just not my friend today. You typically want to have AAA content in your reel if you're applying for a AAA position. Because, like, AAA content is going to be that relevant to an indie developer or a lottery commission or whatever, right? It's really a lot more relevant when you're applying to Naughty Dog or something like that. Really quick. So Matt says, personal thing, I really respect setting up multiple passive income streams, doing things like libraries, but when I see them on regular sound designer sites, I kind of think of them as like, this was done as an afterthought and isn't their real focus. Compared to having a dedicated library site, it feels like the serious library people don't have sites that try to be both. That's true, you know? I get that, sure, as opposed to like, and also this thing, you know? And also this thing happens a lot in a variety of flavors across sites, and I'm generally okay with it because it's just often not a great way to, not like a great place to put things sometimes. But sound libraries in particular is like maybe one that could be, you know, elsewhere. I don't know if it's a right choice or not, but Matt raises a reasonable point. Tiers of sound for Loop Masters, Nakai, but don't know how to don't know it anymore. How it don't show it is what you're saying. Don't show it anymore. It's under game audio. It's like, where's A on the keyboard? What is this typo? All right. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, so you want to do games, then I would recommend you just make that clear, because this isn't clear at all that you want to do games. Like the in-device thing is not games, although arguably it's closer to games than the film stuff is, because it's interactive, right? And then this stuff, like the Transformer isn't really games, it's like more games than the artsy film, but again, it's not game exclusively. And this is obviously very game. So just right now, it's not super clear what you're looking to do. Oh, there's Rob in the chat right there. I was just gonna say. So Rob Krekel is the senior sound designer, I think is your position at Naughty Dog. And he was actually a guest host on Real Talk a while back. He says, if you're applying to us, that is Naughty Dog, right? Definitely want to see a AAA game focused reel, redesign, etc. Also, you to see separate implementation videos. There you go. Just got promoted now, audio lead. Why are you like the face? Congrats. Audio lead at Naughty Dog in the chat right now. What's up? Good to see you, pal. You going to GDC? I hope so. Okay, so we've got just too many things to look at, and there's no real focus. That's the biggest problem here. The work is not inherently bad. It can be improved a lot, but it's not like bad sound design, you know? The focus is the biggest problem. That's the biggest one, big time. So focus and branding. Let's talk about quality, though. So we'll go into this guy here. I'm going to skip over the non-game stuff, as this is a more game-focused kind of stream. And like, who am I to say your choices for the abstract sound design in your Lucid Short movie are you know, could be better. I don't know. And Matt says the sound design is not screaming out at me. Yes, I agree. Let's keep going forwards here. All right, so this clip starts out, and I was like, sweet, non-short film. Let's do it. Dude, I didn't hear any of that. Like, this, the thing about Transformers is they've kind of very heavily been established as far as what that should sound like by film, you know? And games too, really. Like Dark Side of the Moon, right? Like, this is silent, dude. Which is like very low effort and kind of tropey, you know? When something's happening. But that's all there is for this sync. We hear the tires screeching, but where's all the crazy, like, granulized synth clicking and clacking and ratcheting and so forth? The end is cool, but the rest is just absent, you know? And it's unfortunate, because the fact is, this is the first kind of or it's the first thing that's more relevant to me in game sound, and it's just not there. It's not landing, just due to the fact that it's just a missed opportunity big time. Like, this is like, oh, this is so fun, right? This big transformation process. There's so many little hooks you can latch onto for sound design in there, and you just aren't doing it. So it's too bad. There's other small problems, or just missing things, or just details that could be in there, but that's really the biggest problem, is that you just missed that entirely. Into the... Oh, we'll keep going, though, on the rest of this little clip. Or will we? Let's see if YouTube lets us. Man, it's being brutal right now. Apologies. Here we go. Yeah, it's better towards the end. I did hear, although the electricity sound in there. Right there. is what are these freaking videos, man? This is scary. Got a free doll. I'm pretty sure that's like a sound designer's toolkit sound effect, and it's the kind of thing that won't matter to the world. I watched that movie Moon on Netflix. My girlfriend liked it, kinda. I couldn't do it, you know, because it's like it was so. As a sound designer, it was I got pulled out like every minute. There was some sound like from some library just like being drag and dropped into the movie. You saw that too, Metrazol? Oh my god, man, it's crazy. It was just shameless. And I literally like looked up who did the sound stuff. I was like, man, it doesn't seem like they should be. That person is that kind of person. It was like sound editor at best, just like dropping things in and just syncing things at, like, you know, as best they could. But realize that when you're doing a sound design reel, if you're using like well-known sound effects, they might be recognized by the kinds of people who'll be listening to your work. Man, Matt, listen to it again. With your sound designer's toolkit, Sound Ideas 6000 series open, you'll or like 1000 even. It's brutal. It's brutal. Carrying on. And the background track right now is from Background Tracks. It's like the Cold Wind track. It's the one. It's used everywhere. Also, it's the thing is hard to find one that isn't this one because it's just good. Like the one that's like with that kind of shape to it. It's used everywhere, but it's fine. And again, this is kind of a weird clip to use because there's just the one thing. Audio, please keep cutting out here. There's the one thing happening here, right? Like this door is closing. It's just. And nothing else really happening there. Like, this is kind of a cool thing with the noise on this guy. But it's really kind of abstract and nothing's synced. So it's nice to have those kind of things where it's like, here's your blank canvas. Like, what do you do with that, right? It's just not really a standalone. Like, this isn't great standalone. And then, like, the next clip here, there's nothing happening except, like, ambience and this door moving. So it's, again, like, kind of a cool little thing to do. And it shows... like this is what I designed this door to sound like, but it's kind of a and it does sound like fine, but in terms of panning, it's like it's right there in front of you the whole time. It's like here's the door closing. If I close my eyes and listen to this clip, if YouTube will let me, it kind of sounds like I'm standing like in front of a big door. And it's closing right here, you know, and I'm standing here the whole time. But in terms of perspective, that's not what we're seeing. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. You've got like this singular kind of focus in the sound design. Like, here's a sweet door design, check it out. Because I've seen that in some reels. Like, here's this door, and it's like a sweet door. It's like, yes, this should definitely be in your reel. But the problem with that is that when you have such a singular focus, the magnifying glass is out like big time, right? If this door was closing with like 10 other things happening in the same clip, I might not even realize that the panning was off. But because it's only a door, I can't help but notice. Like I have to notice it, right? And so Rob's saying the last two clips, which are the actual game stuff, have so little happening. So if you're trying to apply for some like game sound position, you should be trying to show like a variety of skill sets. Like, I can do like this cool action-packed part, i.e. that transformer, you know, coming apart and well, transforming into its different form. And then like that's pretty action-packed and pretty cool. You could have like a combat sequence from Last of Us. You could have a walking and mantling up sequence from Last of Us also. That's kind of cool to have that differentiation there, right? And this isn't a bad thing inherently, but the problem is not this single clip. It's like the breadth of work you're showing, because it's not showing us what you can do. That's the biggest problem, right? It's just conveyance. And then, like, even in this clip, it's not it's not perfect. You know, like Matt mentioned the ambience not changing with perspective. I would agree with that. Also, like the footsteps aren't bad. It sounds kind of correct for the surface. But I mean, hey, Rob's in the chat. Like he might be able to give you some good feedback on this one. He may have done this sound, like the actual original sound. I'm not sure about that. Here we go. So it's kind of only footsteps, and again, this might not be a big deal if it was like part of many things happening in one scene, but because it's all that's happening, again, the magnifying glass is out big time, and we're focusing in on the things that are kind of missing. So, Rob did the ambience in this area. He did this area, so that's pretty cool that he's in the room right now while you're showing this, Jeshua. But like I saw this, for example. Like if I designed this clip, I would be going crazy with it because there's not much to latch onto. So you got to kind of just, figure out all the things you could be putting sound on, right? So one, for example, is like the hands down and like the pushing up. There's no Foley for that. There's a bit of like a cloth rustle, but it's like that first moment is kind of cool to have like the boom on the surface or something like that. Like I don't know if it actually works like that in the game or not. I'm not sure, but like because you redesigned this one clip where not much is happening, I'm just latching on to things I think are missing. So, oh, there's Rob right there. So Foley's more than just feet. You need cloth and backpack and hands. Thanks. So, yeah, it's definitely a consideration. And like me, Matt liked the footsteps on the bus. It's cool, but it's just not enough, Anyway, okay, so yeah, I mean, I think that I'd be very curious what your work would sound like if it was a designed like action-packed sequence or something, because this shows, like, the fact that this is here at all shows that you have an interest and capacity to self-teach as far as like game sound stuff. This is a safe assumption. Also, you're on a freaking game sound broadcast right now, so that is kind of an indication of where your future lies, or where you want to be at least. But I think you just need to be clearer. And if you feel that you don't have enough stuff, or if you feel that your current body of work is not enough to like fill out a reel to be game sound only, then just keep working. It's certainly no problem to update your work and just update your site with the new cool stuff you're doing, right? So, anyways, the high school bleachers were the bus. Oh, cool. That's sweet. That's cool. Like I could even, it's been done in the past where people will they'll record video of them recording sounds in their reel and put it like a picture in picture right here as you're walking, and that would make this really cool. Just have like you walk in here and have like, or have the character walking here and then have you walking out in the corner here in the bleachers. That'd be sweet. But I don't know. It's just ways to spruce up what is otherwise kind of mostly not much happening kind of scene, Anyway. Okay, so into the last thing here. So into distinction. I think it's pretty clear to say that you're not quite standing out yet, and it's mostly a problem of communication and of kind of conveyance of your work. I think that you need to, so just to glaze over everything we're talking about before, right? We're going to have a recommendation that you make these videos into one video, so it's very clear, like watch the one thing, here's the one thing to look at, period. If you want to get into games, like go more game heavy with your stuff and vary out the kind of work you're doing in games, not just here's a door closing and here's some Foley. And the branding's important too, right? So you mentioned the opening title being kind of unfortunate compared against this, which is great. Sound libraries could be its own site, although I don't have a huge problem with that personally. I'd put it more like over here somewhere as a second thought, unless it's actually equally as important. But right now it's one thing for $12, so that doesn't look amazing. Whereas go to Boom, it's like, here's one thing, like $400, right? And that's a little more, if it was one thing for $400 and it was like a huge body of work, I'd be like, cool, that's awesome. You're obviously like working hard on this thing. But even though this is cool. It's just the one thing, you know? So I'd like to see more of that. Of course, you'd like to see more of it also, I assume, right? See, it's on your site. So I hope you keep doing it. Booms overpriced, cough, cough. I don't know about that. Depends. I have various opinions. I think some libraries are amazing for them, and some I've had urges to return, or I've at least left strongly worded comments. I just want to see more of your work, man. Like, make a portfolio page with these various things and put comments on them, like what they are, why we should care. It's a big one, you know? All right. Oh, yeah, sorry, Matt, good point. One thing, but don't make it longer. Make it 1 minute long. 1 minute's plenty. It's all you need. If you're showing more than a minute, I would argue that you're being redundant. And typically, the only time that there are things that are more than a minute, I'm like pumped to watch, is because it's like an expose on some cool system in a game I know. In which case, it's not somebody who's like starting out. You know, it's just very unusual that someone at a point in their career similar to yourself needs more than a minute to show everything they need to show, you know, at least as a quick teaser trailer. Okay. All right. So thanks a lot, pal. And thank you again to everyone in the chat for helping out with the feedback. Rob, amazing that you're here. Always a pleasure. Thanks so much. And now, and of course, Sound Tweaker, feel free to follow up with any other questions you got, or any clarifications, or if you have a V2, we'd love to see it. Heck yeah, we've had V2s, even V3s on the show before, and it's very, very cool to kind of see how things have progressed since last time we saw it. You know. Hey Jan, what's up? Clay Jan in the chat. Good to see you. So Mega Mag RC says, "Can I ask you a question?" Yes, you can. When it comes to social media presence, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, is there any recommendation on which you should use as a freelancer looking for work? I mean, any? You know, Twitter's great. Facebook's fine. Facebook pages, like having a page for Power Up Audio, we have one. We don't really use it. It's just there as a like a bookmark, like a foothold to point to other places. Like, here, yes, you found us. Good job. Now go somewhere else to actually see some content. We've got Instagram. We use it occasionally. We'll update and put photos of events we go to, or videos of things we're working on, or whatever. We use Twitter the most, probably. But in terms of like helping you find work, I don't know. I think that it can't hurt, really, but I wouldn't say there's like a clear winner, or like a clear path to success regarding social media, if that makes sense. Anyway. Yeah, so Facebook's huge, but regarding relevant traffic, that's a fair assessment. Oh, I'm curious here too. Contact, I didn't look at this. Yeah, there's no links to like your Twitter and stuff here. Or maybe there is? This is no link. No. Maybe there could be? I don't know. All right, so as I was mentioning before, I'm going to turn this back on because it's freaking awesome. It's so cool. I'm going to turn this down.